Team Mitochondria have some confessions to make. It is true that a defect in the mitochondrion causes Leig's disease. However, Leig's disease can easily be treated, sometimes without leaving the comfort of your own home. Some symptoms of Leig's disease include loss of appetite and poor sucking ability. Don't worry about it. Everyone knows that you could stand to lose a few pounds anyway, and straws are so overrated. The most common treatment for Leig's disease is thiamine or vitamin B1. Oral sodium bicarbonate or sodium citrate may also be prescribed to manage lactase acid levels. These are really just very long names for very simple and effective vitamins and supplements that can be easily prescribed by your doctor. Researchers are currently testing dichloroacetate, a new type of medicine, to investigate its effectiveness in treating lactase acid levels. In individuals who have the X-linked form of Leig's disease, a high-fat, low-carbohydrate diet may be recommended. Just think. All you have to do to help to get better is to eat foods that have a lot of fat in them. Speech and physical therapy can also help to facilitate your recovery. Leig's disease is extremely rare, and most doctors have never even heard or have had to treat a case of Leig's disease. Only 1 in 6,000 people are diagnosed with Leig's disease, and there is only a 25% chance of a child getting Leig's disease if their mother is carrying the gene. Even if you are diagnosed with this disease, most cases are non-severe, and people have been able to live the rest of their lives with Leig's disease.
It is also true that the mitochondria cause mitochondria disease, which can lead to cell death. The symptoms of this disease are mostly non-severe and include headaches, forgetfulness, or muscle pain and cramping. Come on, people, just take an Advil. Physical therapy may extend the range of movement and muscles and improve agility as well. Vitamin therapies such as riboflavin, coenzyme Q, and carnitine, a specialized amino acid, may provide improvement in tiredness and energy levels in almost all patients. 3 of the most effective things you can do are avoid stressful factors and situations, maintain a healthy diet, and regularly take vitamins and supplements prescribed by your doctor to treat this disease. It has been even proven that physical, speech, and respiratory therapies can preserve and even improve a patient's functioning mobility, strength. Research is currently being conducted to find an even more effective treatment for mitochondrial disease. Mitochondrial disease only affects 1 in 5,000 people, so it's a very uncommon disease to get. In most cases, people affected by this disease can live many more years, possibly their whole life, after being diagnosed with mitochondrial disease. The National Institute of Neurological Disorder and Stroke, also known as the NINDS, conducts and supports research on mitochondrial myopathies. The goal of this research are to increase scientific understanding of these disorders and to find ways to effectively treat, prevent, or even cure them. Eating a healthy, balanced diet is also important. Sometimes special diets are necessary to manage specific mitochondrial and metabolic diseases.
One of our opponents said that the cell death that mitochondria causes can lead to cancer. However, after our research, it was proven that mitochondria-related cell death does not in fact cause or lead to cancer in any way. We were also informed that the mitochondria cause mitochondrial DNA depletion syndrome. After researching this disease, we found that only 45 cases of this disease have ever been diagnosed. Symptoms of this disease are very irregular and will not affect your way of life all that much. There is a small possibility of developing droopy eye, some muscle weaknesses, or a slight depletion in your hearing ability, but the symptoms usually never become more severe than that. No worries, if your hearing starts to worsen, very affordable hearing aids are available for you to purchase. Treating this disease completely only requires a liver transplant and physical therapy along with other prescribed medicines that can help you help your recovery easier. It is also very common to live up to 10 or 20 more years after the diagnosis. In the cases of mitochondria DNA depletion syndrome, both the mother and father must be carrying the trait in order for it to be inherited. It is also usually the case that there is a long history of this disease in a family. If there is not, then you have a lesser risk of inheriting the gene.
Finally, it was brought to our attention that the mitochondria may cause Alpers disease, an extremely rare disorder of the nervous system. As we previously mentioned, Alpers disease is very rare and affects less than 1 in 200,000 people. Even people who carry the gene for Alpers disease have only a 25% chance of passing it down to the next generation. Signs and symptoms include low muscle tone, stiffness of the limbs, eye problems, and occasional confusion. If you ever do have stiff limbs or achy muscles, there is always the option of taking a hot bath. Your vision is becoming blurry, eyes are itchy and irritated, eyeglasses and eye drops have been proven to be very effective as well. We also found that in some cases, Alpers is not inherited. It is caused by a metabolic defect, not by mitochondria. Alpers disease is also frequently misdiagnosed and turns out to be a different kind of disease. Individuals diagnosed with this disease may live for decades after the diagnosis. In patients who are diagnosed with this disease later on in life, their symptoms are much less severe and progression is also much slower. Doctors believe that these types of patients experience little or no pain and their lives are only minimally affected by Alpers disease.
To give our audience some background information, the main function of mitochondria is to work as a cell's power producer. They are membrane-enclosed structures found in plant and animal cells. The mitochondria's job is to convert the energy found in food into a form of energy that the cells can use to power our bodies. This procedure that the cell goes through is called aerobic respiration, where energy molecules are generated from the nutrient molecules using oxygen. The mitochondrion is made up of 4 main structures: the inner membrane, the outer membrane, the cristae, and the matrix. The mitochondria in our bodies are critical for our survival. Just ask Dr. Terry Walls, a multiple sclerosis survivor. She was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2000. The disease progressed to such an extent that in just 5 short years she could only walk a few short steps and was confined to an electric wheelchair. For such an active person, the disease was devastating and altered her life completely. However, Terry Walls said, "I made a discovery that changed my life. This discovery is how I overcame secondary progressive MS, and I got out of my wheelchair." Walls knew from her earlier days in medical school that her body is made up of building blocks, that all must be in the correct places in order to reach the highest and most efficient levels of function. I started researching the nutrient requirements for the brain and mitochondria and put myself on a new nutrition program that would feed my mitochondria all the nutrients it needed to repair the damage in my body. Shortly after, she began a special diet and took part in lots of physical therapy. The results were dramatic. In less than 1 year, Terry was out of her wheelchair and walking without a cane. She could even bicycle. One of the most remarkable things about Terry Wall's story was that her recovery did not come from traditional medicine, just the help of a little, yet extremely important organelle called the mitochondria.
You should now begin to realize that mitochondria are clearly the most important organelle in our bodies. If our cells did not contain mitochondria, we would die. By getting food into our stomachs and oxygen into our lungs, we are providing all of the basic materials for a process called aerobic respiration, a chemical reaction process that is constantly firing away in every cell of our body to give us energy. This wonderful life-giving reaction occurs because of mitochondria. Mitochondria are much more effective at giving our bodies energy than just a quick meal. They bring aerobic respiration to the table, which, as we discussed above, is one of the most important ways for our body to produce the energy that is necessary for our survival. Without the mitochondria to do all of this for us, we would not even exist. They are extremely important for our survival, giving our bodies the energy it needs to take on the day, and for that matter, the energy it needs to function. Without mitochondria, the food we eat would do nothing for our health of our bodies. Any person who has a will to live would vote for mitochondria as the most important organelle in our bodies.
We are Team Mitochondria and we approve this message!